Although the Jesus books were the first books that I really wrote, the first books to be published in America were the Nostradamus material. This was in the 80s that I got the material, and the first book of the series was published at the end of the 80s. It ended up being a 3-volume set, and it's called Conversations with Nostradamus. And it's a very unusual story. It's one that has never happened before in the history of hypnosis. But it ended up taking 3 years to write the 3 books, to get all the material together to write them, and then 12 different people that this happened with. But in the Nostradamus books, we accidentally had a connection with Nostradamus. It's not a normal past life regressions as I was used to doing. But the woman went back to where she was a student of Nostradamus, back at the time when he was alive in the 1500s in France. And during it, I thought, well, this will be interesting. What can she tell me about this great man that people would want to know? So as we were finding out about Nostradamus from the viewpoint of one of the students, all of a sudden, Nostradamus came up to the student in the session, and he knew we were doing something. He said he wanted to talk to me. Well, that's a little weird to think you're going to be talking to somebody in the 1500s in France. But he said he'd been looking for a connection to the future because he could see that his prophecies were not being correctly interpreted, and the time was coming when they were going to come true. So he said, I have an assignment for you. I want you to get the book that exists in your time and read each one of the quatrains, the prophecies, to me, and I will give you the explanation, I will give you the interpretation and the translation of what it means. And you are to present this to the world. Well, it was quite an assignment, and I didn't know what would be up to it or not. But it's why it took so long to do it. But this book is the first time in history all 1,000 prophecies have been correctly interpreted. Now we have to consider also the timeline, because he wanted me to go all over the world and tell people what was going to happen. Was he said he was seeing the most horrible things, the scenarios that could happen. So he wanted us to stop these from happening, because we go down different timelines. He said, if I show you the most horrible things man can do to himself, will you do something to stop it? He knew if we knew what was going to happen in the future, we could change that by altering the future. Because he saw the future is going off in 10 branches, different paths, each one from the worst results of a situation to the least results. He said if we knew which path we were going down, we could change it to a lesser, one that is not as bad as the ones he saw. And that's what he wanted me to do, was go all over the world and tell people, you don't know the power of your own mind. If you knew what was going to happen, you could focus on the opposite of what was going to happen and change the future. And he said, if the power of one person's mind is that powerful, imagine the power of group mind. You have groups of people focusing on something, you can truly perform miracles, because the power is not only multiplied, it's squared. The power is tremendous, and we can change the future. So for 25 years, I traveled all over the world telling people about the prophecies and about what he predicted and how we could change the future. And now I don't lecture on it as much, because I feel we have done what he wanted us to do. We have changed the future, gone down the path of less resistance. It's not as bad as he foresaw it. So it shows it is possible to do it. But the Conversations with Nostradamus books are a 3-volume set, and it's a fascinating story. Even if the dates are not correct in it because the dates are the hardest thing for any psychic to predict. But it's still a fascinating story.